What's up, guys? So, today we're going to be talking about sex. That's right, but more importantly, I want to get down to not the act of sex, but like the feeling of sexuality. We've been talking about that, how porn can ruin that beauty, and how a lot of times in our society, I think from a young age, many of us become ashamed of our sexuality without really knowing it. And so when we get older, let me open these windows. When we get older, we don't really know what it's like to have that side of us developed. And I want to sort of tell you my story because I grew up in a Christian household, very strict Christian. I was the oldest out of 6 kids. And my mother and father were like great, great parents, and they showed me a lot of love and affection, and my dad, told me that I could fulfill anything I put my mind to. He used to tell me, son, whatever you put your mind to, I know that you're going to be capable of accomplishing whatever you want. And when I started bodybuilding, my mother I would come back every day. It was like there's no way I could make progress, but I would do a double bicep, and then I would do a most muscular, and I would show my mom, and of course she's like, "Oh, son, you look great." My dad told me one time, he's like, "Son, listen," he was real with me. If you want to be a bodybuilder, you got to train your legs. Your legs are a bit skinny. Your arms are big, but your legs they're sort of skinny. So maybe work out your leg. That always got to me. But he's telling me the truth. But my mom was always encouraging, and so I grew up in a good household that encouraged me to move forward. But there was also this point in my life, I remember my teens, where I was from church and the religion of, so you guys know, like I was waiting until marriage. I didn't have sex until I was about 21, somewhere around there. I'm 26 now, so it's a little hazy. I know a lot of you guys are like, he said 22 before 21. So around 21. And, but before then, I was like, I could not bring a girl over the house. I wouldn't dream of asking a girl on a date and like me going out with her alone, because I would have to tell my parents. And maybe it was because they never really talked to me about like it's okay to be super attracted to a woman, to ask her out, to start to develop this side of you as you're getting older. You're becoming a man now, son, and they didn't make that like an okay thing. So as I got older, I didn't have that sexual side of me. Again, I was 21 years old and I had sex for the first time. And this was in part because my parents died and I had to move out of the house, and eventually I was no longer in the church. And I was no longer around the influence of the church and my parents, the religion. And I was thankful for that again, but it did not let this part of me develop. And so what I did as I got older is like, okay, I wanna be intimate. I wanna develop this lover side of me, the seducer side. I wanna be able to experience a woman. I'm very attracted to the feminine energy. And so what I did was try to develop my humor or my wit. I tried to become smart enough so that I tried to develop my body. And so it was always about like becoming at my peaking out. And so I would be attractive. And I don't think it was that much out of insecurity, because I just love working out, and reading is something that I love. But I think many of us are encouraged. It's a motivation, like you want to have a nice body so that the opposite sex finds you very attractive, right? But what's been like so huge for me, as I realize, I keep asking myself this question, especially when I'm in solitude, is how do you act? How should I act in the world? If you read Jordan Peterson or listen to him, he says, aim at the highest good, When you wake up in the morning, what good can I do today? Marcus Aurelius. Don't ask what a good man should be one. And I've been listening to a lot of Zan Pirion lately, and his message really was like that final piece that I needed to answer that question. And it's funny because I think we always hear these gold nuggets, and we're constantly reading books, and even in my videos, I'm trying to share stuff that has benefited me in my life. And we always want that new. Once we hear it, it's like it's good for a day. It motivates you. You're like, you have this idea in your head that you live by, and it just, you're good for about 2 days, and then it sort of begins to fade, and you're like, what's the big deal? I need something new, so I buy the new self-development book, or I listen to a new speech on YouTube, Gary Vee, or I go to Inside Quest, or, I'm always searching for the next thing. And what really stuck with me was that you embrace the sexual side of you, combined with this charismatic idea that you've developed, right? We look at Arnold and we see him having fun and laughing. I wanted to be like that, man. I wanted to be around friends in the gym and having a great time. I wanted to have a lot of laughter and fun in my life and jokes. But again, there's this other side that I'm realizing that I've been running away from. And that's just me being a man. That sexual, that tingle, that twinkle in the eye. Zan Pirion, like I've said, he calls it the dark forest. And it's the energy that moves downwards. Everything else is this upper energy that comes out into the world. Your speech, humor. He says it's Toastmasters. It's empathy, kindness. Then there's also this energy that flows downwards into the world that is your masculine edge. It's sharp. It wants to bend the world. It wants power and control. When it sees a girl, it's that desire for her. So my whole life, I learned without knowing it, repress it. Don't let that come out. It's not good. You can't have that in your life. And this isn't just about sex. I want you guys to know, this is about, you can feel, like when I'm speaking now, I'm coming from a place of, I'm talking about what is inside me, what I feel, what is moving inside of my brain, inside of my body right now. I'm not saying something so that I'm being real. That's what I'm being. I'm not saying something just so this video gets a bunch of likes and, this is a great message. I'm just speaking about what I want to speak about my story. I never thought that was good enough. I never thought that I was good enough. I didn't know that I am good enough. And in the Red Pill community, we talk about never settle. You can always be more, and that's true. You all have potential. But it's a balance of these energies. Too much of the lower sexual energy is going to be a little creepy. But I think we've all developed, like we've all been told, spike the emotions. Get yourself in a good state. Now I'm learning it's like, I don't have to operate from those state, man. I could just operate because I'm coming from, this is the abundance we're talking about. But really, I think I'm trying these days to understand what that abundance feels like, because for so long, I didn't know. So long I didn't know. I didn't know that I could even get on here in camera, and maybe even in my old videos. I didn't realize that the stuff going on in my head, if I just spoke my truth and what I was feeling, that was going to resonate with someone else. I thought I had to develop a message and rehearse. And so, I think it's a fine line, guys. I want you guys to not feel ashamed that, it's important to study and gather wisdom and think deeply, but also to learn to speak from your heart, to speak your truth that is bubbling up inside of you, and not be ashamed of that. It's this mystique, it's this twinkle in the eye, it's that thrust Zamperion, listen to him, guys. Listen to his message. It's that thrust, that deep thrust. If you ever had sex, you can just hump away, or you can just thrust passionately, and that's sort of that same energy. You can feel it. You can feel it inside of you, and it wants to come out in everything in life. And society has sort of made it very easy for us to suppress that and to get away from expressing that true self, that true masculinity, that true edge. You don't want to sharpen these edges, man, because these are the edges you got. Then you're not a sword, you're just dull. And I'm learning to embrace that. I'm learning that my truth can be spoken. I'm getting in tune with that truth. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being able to resonate with me and lift me up. And just last thing, like I would love more examples to give you, and I'm kind of falling short here, but I remember in school, I was asked to read in high school, and I was so nervous, and I yelled. I would rather yell at the teacher than to actually just read a sentence from the book. I was afraid of what people thought about me. And so even now when I read out loud, it's not a reading from like I'm seeing the words and letting them flow. I feel like I have to almost tune my voice so it sounds like it's projecting. We try to use all these techniques. Try to use all these mind games, these formulas, these theories, and I'm moving away from that. And you can know all that, but if you can't like operate at your center, if you can't be a grounded man, life's not going to be fun. It's going to be like you're living a lie. I don't want to live a lie. I want to be truthful. I'll see you guys soon.